This is one of several public hearings that the Environment and Planning Committee is conducting to inform itself about the issues relevant to the inquiry.
We're seeing quite significant growth in the proportions and the numbers of people living in apartments.
We think there's some real value in strengthening standards.
So at the moment we have minimum standards for bedrooms, and we have minimum standards for the actual living, but we don't have any standards for the kitchen or dining areas.
When a space becomes quite deep, the space central to the apartment towards the core tends to have spaces that may not even have a window, but there's no controls around that. For example, study areas.
New South Wales, South Australia and Western Australia, they all have minimum building separation standards as a space between buildings.
Overall, there's a theme for the need for clearer metrics and often more generous minimum standards for the size of apartments and for open space, and also consensus about the need for stronger or mandatory controls.
I was wondering if you had any thought on the external aesthetic of the building, particularly as it applies to reflectivity.
If you spoke to most people in Melbourne and said, what do you think about the way apartments look? People would say we'd like them to look better than they do.
We do have from time to time complaints about reflectivity, so I think that's quite important.
We really support the aspirations of a kind of an end-to-end design process that says, design expertise and review is a really important way of getting to better apartment designs and internal and external amenity.
There's an argument from the Property Council, particularly around build-to-rent developments, suggesting that reduced car parking requirements could be applied.
If development is bringing new population in, that development should provide for the parking that's needed. And that's because there are some real downsides with using streetscape for parking.
What do you consider some of the key lessons of the COVID-19 pandemic for Victoria's apartment design standards?
Minimum room sizes, minimum space sizes for communal open space and private space. These are things we really need to get right, especially in the COVID climate.
The need for space, quality, natural light, ventilation, etc. has been highlighted, and that it is significantly important right now more than ever.
You've raised some wonderful points. It's been a great discussion. You've given us a lot to think about.